Hey, Tegan,
Hey, Ray.
do you want to hear about a cool, weird gadget?
You know I do. You don't even have to ask.
So, first of all, a bit of background. Exoskeletons.
Sure. Yep. Straight to exoskeletons. Please say more.
It means having a skeleton on the outside, like
Yep.
beetles and lobsters that are just basically sea beetles.
Yep.
And for people, if we want an exoskeleton, we have to wear a robot, which I think sounds pretty cool,
Mhm.
right?
It does sound cool. I have some follow-up questions.
They can help you lift heavy weights. They can help you have more physical endurance. They can help people that have got disabilities just perform normal day-to-day tasks. And they're used in a bunch of other jobs as
Okay,
well.
yes.
Yes. See? Good.
That's a good point. I think my mind just went straight to Jeff Bezos in a giant mech suit on stage being an absolute dork. I have a feeling that this is more useful.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to jump to, but no, they're also being used by people like doctors during surgery or physical therapy for, patients that have spinal cord injuries or limb injuries. They're being raced for sport. People have got big exoskeletons specifically made for exoskeleton races, and it is the best thing you will ever see in your life. I'm going to show you the video. They're being used by the military.
I demand exoskeleton Olympics now.
Perfectly reasonable. They're being used by the military as well, which is a bit iffy always. Look, the unfortunate thing is that a lot of spending for scientific innovation is rolled up into defense budgets. So you've got a lot of scientists that never intended to work for the armed forces in any way whatsoever, but that's who's got the cash. So that's who's making the cool stuff. And then once they've made it, the artists can pick up on it and use it to choreograph dance performances, which has actually happened around the world for quite a few years. But the gadget utilizing exoskeleton technology. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm just imagining some scientists that, like, they were a kid, they fell in love with science and robotics, and all they ever wanted to do was work for the CSIRO, and now they work for the military.
Correct. There are hundreds of them. So the particular application of exoskeleton technology, the gadget that I think is really cool, a little bit weird, we might be able to wear one when we go on a hike together, Tegan, if we get rich.
What?
So ArcTeryx, that super expensive hiking gear brand? You've got a jacket from them?
I have $1,000 jacket by them, and so I have some questions about how pricey an exoskeleton would be.
You are
this thing
right.
This keeps rain off.
To concern about this. They actually partnered up with Skip, which is a spin-off of Google X Labs. Remember Google X Labs doing all sorts of fun, weird stuff? Yeah. They still exist. They've made a pair of pants, Skip and ArcTeryx. They've called them Mogo pants. Mogo is short for mountain goat.
Oh my God. The mountain goat pants. As a Capricorn, that speaks to me on a deeper level than I anticipated. Please tell me more about this. Oh my! Can people buy this? You tell me the story. I have too many questions.
I will tell you everything. So they come with this carbon fiber brace. It's inside the pants. It's got these adjustable cuffs that go around your thigh and your calf. And then on the outside, there's an electric motor that snaps onto it. So you can carry this around in your backpack and then decide that you need it and just snap it on, and it boosts your leg strength when you're going up a hill. And also, when you're going downhill and it's just like you're slamming your feet into the ground over and over again, it absorbs the impact
and also it hurts
of all of those
knees.
steps.
Like
yes.
Whenever we go hiking, I always have to have a pole now because I'm old. And it hurts my knees.
That's exactly who this is for. People that are getting a bit old and all their joints aren't working too well, but they still want to go on hikes. So it weighs about 3 kilos, but they reckon it can make you
that's
feel...
not light packing, isn't it?
It's not, but they do keep
No.
advertising it as lightweight. And I'm like, you've never been on the ultralight subreddit, I can tell. But for those 3 kilos...
Can you imagine the people that literally like saw off like half of their toothbrush just to save a couple of ounces, going like looking at 3 kilos of extra pack weight?
It would absolutely not happen, but they might think it's worth it because it does make you feel about 13 kilos lighter, which is not an insignificant amount of weight. So it is marketed as a mobility device. So it's meant to help you extend your range. So the way that they describe it is like an e-bike, but for walking, which makes a lot of sense when you think of it in that
please
context.
Don't tell me it'll explode like you're running down the mountain and it bursts into flames like an e-bike.
Look, there hasn't been any reported battery explosion issues as yet. That being said, it hasn't hit the wider market.
Because no one can afford it.
The goal for this thing is to make hiking more accessible for people who might not have the endurance that they need to get up to certain places or to be able to visit places that they used to be able to, which I think is pretty cool. Like it monitors...
I do love that.
Yeah, it monitors like your gait and your leg movements to work out when you're walking or climbing, so it knows how to adjust. And you can adjust the amount of assistance that you're being given like on the go. If you're like, nah, man, this is too powerful, I can't deal with this. Or you can go, crank it, I'm climbing out of the valley.
You're just like, I'm just climbing up the side of K2 that no one's actually ever been able to get up, just straight up the snow cap like that.
Pretty much.
I've already got a tagline for this. Are you ready for this? What if it was like the Mogo, built different?
It's like, did she get up there by herself? Or did she use a Mogo?
I have a feeling that possibly you'd be able to tell. I haven't seen these things. I didn't know about this story before you told me, but I cannot imagine in my mind's eye that these are subtle. You know?
They're not subtle. You can absolutely tell that they're being used. And look, there's a couple of downsides to them. One of which is obviously this thing needs to run on batteries. The batteries are rechargeable, they are replaceable, so you could have a spare in your pack. That's some even more weight to carry. They last about 3 hours.
No. This is a design flaw because, as you know, I'm a big fan of hiking tech that involves like solar panels. Like I've got that inflatable lantern that has a little mini solar panel on it that can charge my phone. I envision the butt of the Mogo. Just put some solar panels on it so it can recharge on the go. Why not? Free idea.
It's a pretty good idea because, yeah, you do only get those 3 hours. So if you want to use them, I'm anticipating you kind of have to have them on you the whole time, either in your pack or on your body. And then you have to turn them on when you really need it. Like, it's not a hiking assistance the entire time you're walking. I don't think you could use them that way.
That's a lot of effort for 3 hours. I don't want to be unpacking and packing that. Also, how easily does it pack down? You know what I mean? Like, how much of this is... See, I'm thinking exoskeleton, so skeletal rather than, foldable or whatever.
It covers most of your leg. It's from your thigh to your calf on the inside, and then you've got the little clip-on-y bits on the outside. So you've got that internal stuff on basically the whole time. It's look, I'd love to give one a go just to see what it feels like. I have read from people who have been able to give it a go that when they take it off at the end of a hike, it feels like they're switching out from a 4-wheel drive to a sports car because their own mobility is back and they just feel more flexible.
Yeah. It's like it's like, well, okay, for normal people, it's like when they train with ankle weights on.
Yes.
For weird nerds like me, it's like when in Naruto, there's a particular character who seems extremely good at fighting, but then he takes his ankle weights off and goes ballistic. So I imagine it's that sort of situation.
That sounds about right. The other downside, would you like to hear the price, Tegan?
Oh, I would. The very fact this is even a consumer product that has a price is shocking to me. So please hit me with it.
Would you like to guess?
Okay. A thin rain jacket, which admittedly does the job, is $1,000. So I'm going to say 23,000.
Oh, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because
Oh,
the
really?
the ArcTeryx Mogo pants, which I just still love the name of,
Mhm.
$7,500.
Affordable. Bargain.
Affordable, absolute bargain. And if you pay $150 now to get the early bird price, you're only paying $6,700 and you'll get them early next year.
Oh, so it's still pre-market.
It's
Amazing.
still
Look,
pre-market,
how
but
could I possibly refuse?
there are some selected reviewers that have gotten their hands on them, and the reports back are pretty solid, but I don't trust them
Okay.
unless I've
Well,
tried them
firstly, they got their
myself.
legs on them, but um, all right. Well, I reckon we should be sent some. Brand new podcast. Why not? You can trust
Or,
us.
Tegan, are you going to be in the Western US or Canada anytime soon? You're the one of us that does all the overseas travel.
I'm actually going to be in Boston in September. Yes.
Well, I have some news for you because you can hire them. $120 a day. Give them a go.
Okay, we should look into this because I would. You know that I would. I'll just be running around Fenway Park, seeing the Red Sox in my giant mech suit. I love it. I'm actually very surprised by that price. Perhaps I've already been primed for those sort of prices because of the Apple Vision Pro. So now I'm just like, that's normal in this economy, I guess.
You're like, tech that they don't really want people to buy just costs heaps too much.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to try these right.
I'm just imagining you running around, the hills in the US like a land lobster.
Salem. Well, okay, Arcteryx, the ball is in your court. I'm coming your way. So please convince me of this. I mean, if you're saying that it's a first generation product and people are
Mhm.
liking it so far, obviously there's questions around how much time they actually spent with it. If it was like a proper testing, that kind of thing. Because, for example, again with the Apple Vision Pro, I have tested it, but it was 40 minutes. That does not a review
Yeah,
make.
that's not a
So,
test.
yeah. No, it's a first look. So, yes, I'd be very interested to go and see what they have to say. And I'll be reading about this now and see how
Yes.
long, I know $120 will get me
That's
if we
it.
shell
That's
out for
it.
this.
Thank you for listening to my cool, weird gadget, Tegan.
Thank you for telling me. It's something I didn't know about, and it really has delighted me. I'm so happy that exists in the world.